Have you ever felt like your mind is an unstoppable whirlwind, filled with thoughts that won't let you find peace? That feeling where, no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to find a moment of true calm, as if you're trapped in endless mental chaos. But what if I told you there's a way to turn that whirlwind into a serene, tranquil lake? In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful strategies to calm your mind and find the peace you've been longing for. These aren't magical fixes or unattainable methods. They're Stoic principles that have transformed the lives of many, including mine. Simple yet profound strategies that will help you turn mental noise into serenity and clarity. Are you ready to transform your mind and face life's challenges with calm and strength? Let's get started. But before we dive into the strategies, let me share a fable that might change how you see calmness and chaos in your mind. Once upon a time, deep in an enchanted forest, there was a lake called Serpentine Lake, and not without reason. Its surface was never still. The wind constantly stirred it, creating waves and foam that made the water seem perpetually restless. The animals of the forest avoided it. "Who would want to go near such a chaotic lake?" the birds said from the treetops. The deer chose to drink from calmer streams, and even the frogs, who loved a good splash, preferred quieter ponds. Serpentine Lake was lonely and sad. It wondered why its life had to be this way, why it couldn't be as peaceful as the other lakes in the forest. One night, as the waves crashed against the shores, an old and wise owl landed on a nearby branch. "Why do you resist the wind so much?" asked the owl, its yellow eyes gleaming in the darkness. The lake, with its churning waves and frothy waters, replied, "I don't want to be calm. I want to be strong and resist the wind, but no matter how hard I try, I can't stop it." The owl let out a soft hoo-hoo and smiled. "The wind isn't your enemy, Serpentine Lake. Try something different. Let it pass without fighting it. Accept its presence, and you'll see what happens." The lake pondered the owl's words. The next morning, when the wind began to blow, the lake did something it had never done before. It stopped resisting. Instead of fighting, it let the wind pass through it, without trying to hold it back. Slowly, the waves began to settle. For the first time in a long while, its surface became still, like a mirror reflecting the clouds in the blue sky. The animals in the forest noticed the change. The deer approached to drink, the birds came down to bathe, and the frogs returned to their games in the water. Serpentine Lake had found calm by letting go of the struggle and accepting what it couldn't change. From his branch, the old owl watched and said, "You see, it's not about being strong all the time. Sometimes true strength lies in accepting and letting go." And just as Serpentine Lake found peace by no longer fighting the inevitable, you too can learn to transform the chaos in your mind. Now, let's explore how to apply these lessons in your own life with the Stoic strategies we have for you. Before we continue, if you're finding value in this content, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to unlock unique perks. And let us know in the comments, which of these habits are you going to try first? We'd love to grow together with you. 1. Flow with reality. Have you ever felt like life keeps throwing challenges your way that you just can't control? Like trying to swim against the current of a raging river, pouring all your energy into staying in the same spot. Let me tell you, my friend, it's exhausting, isn't it? Let's be clear, reality is stubborn, and fighting the inevitable only drains your mind. The Stoics understood this well. It wasn't about giving up, it was about wisdom. They accepted what couldn't be changed, and in doing so, they found a kind of serenity that's rare in today's chaotic, stress-filled world. As Seneca once said, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." Picture Seneca, one of ancient Rome's greatest philosophers, facing difficult situations. He didn't waste time complaining or raging against what was beyond his control. Instead, he embraced reality and let the current guide him. He saw it as stopping the frantic paddling and using his energy to move in harmony with life. And you know what? It helped him stay calm and focused. Even modern science backs up this ancient wisdom. In a study conducted by Harvard University, participants who practiced emotional acceptance experienced better mental health and reduced anxiety. But it's not just a statistic. Think about this. Researchers asked participants to face tough moments without resisting or judging themselves. The result? Those who accepted their emotions and situations rather than fighting them felt an immense relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. Their minds became calmer and less chaotic. Now, let me give you an example you've probably experienced. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You're in a rush and you know you're going to be late. You have two choices: resist the situation, banging the steering wheel in frustration, cursing the traffic, and letting anger take over. Or you can accept it. Yes, accept that the traffic is there and that you can't do anything about it. Take a deep breath and decide to use that time to relax, listen to music you love, or simply enjoy the moment. The difference is huge, isn't it? Your mind stays calm instead of spiraling into a storm of emotions. So, how can you start incorporating this habit into your daily life? Let me give you 3 simple steps. First, create your own acceptance mantra. It can be a short phrase you repeat whenever you face something out of your control, like, "I'm okay with what is," or "This is part of the journey." By using a mantra, you train your mind to gradually accept reality without resistance. Say it out loud or in your head, but make sure it resonates with you. Think of it as a magic key that unlocks calmness during stressful moments. Second, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, can I change this situation? If the answer is no, then use your energy more wisely. It's not easy at first, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Think of Seneca. He didn't waste energy on things he couldn't control, and neither should you. Third, find a way to take something positive out of the situation. Maybe you can't control the traffic, but you can control your attitude. Use those moments to do something productive. Listen to an inspiring podcast, sing your favorite song to lift your mood, or just let yourself unwind. It's a small shift in focus that makes a huge difference. My friend, accepting what you can't change isn't giving up, it's finding freedom. When you stop fighting reality, your mind becomes lighter, like a balloon rising into the sky, free from unnecessary weight. Dare to let go of that resistance, and you'll see how calm and peace begin to fill your life. Because in the end, serenity isn't found in control, but in the wisdom to know when to let go. 2. Anchor your mind in the present. Imagine a tennis player standing on the court, with thousands of eyes watching. The sun beats down, sweat drips from his forehead, and the roar of the crowd blends with the deafening thump of his heartbeat. Across from him, an opponent who gives no mercy. The pressure is overwhelming. Every point matters, and one mistake could mean defeat. Everything moves at a dizzying pace, and his mind fills with thoughts. What if I miss? What if I blow this chance? But in that crucial moment, the player closes his eyes for a second. He takes a deep breath and brings his mind to the present. Everything else fades away. The crowd, the noise, the doubts. All that remains is the here and now, the ball, and the next move. That player is Rafael Nadal, one of the greatest tennis players in the world. And this is his secret for calming his mind in moments of extreme pressure, anchoring it in the present. My friend, believe me, if it works for him in such intense situations, it can work for you in your daily life. Often our mind feels like a TV with 1,000 channels switching at lightning speed. But what if you could hit the pause button and stay on just one channel, a calmer one? Let's be clear, mindfulness isn't just a trend. It's a powerful tool to keep our minds calm, even in the middle of chaos. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, used to remind himself, "The present is the only thing we must hold on to firmly." Picture Marcus Aurelius surrounded by the hustle and bustle of the Roman Empire, dealing with endless problems and critical decisions. Yet he made it a habit to return to the present again and again, like a sailor clinging to an anchor during a storm. For him, being present was the only way to stay calm and maintain mental clarity. Now, imagine this scenario. You're at the supermarket with a long shopping list in one hand and your phone buzzing in the other. The bright lights glare down, the background music is annoying, and the noise of conversations blends into a constant hum. You feel anxiety creeping in, and your mind starts to wander. Did I reply to that email? What should I cook for dinner tonight? Everything turns into chaos. This is where mindfulness comes in, like an oasis in the desert. You can do what Nadal does. Come back to the now, want to know how. First, focus your attention on a single sense. It could be your breathing or the sensation of your feet touching the ground. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs, or notice the weight of your body. By doing this, your mind anchors itself in the present. It's a simple but powerful trick. And you know what? As you do this, the mental noise begins to quiet down. You don't eliminate distractions, but you make them less important. Second, when an intrusive thought pops up like, I have 1,000 things to do later, simply acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I'm thinking about this, and then let it go, as if it were a leaf carried away by the wind. It takes practice, but each time you do it, your mind becomes lighter and less likely to cling to worries. Do you see how much power this simple habit holds? Anchoring your mind in the present is essential for calming the inner chaos, but it also gives you the clarity to make better decisions. Let me ask you something. Wouldn't you like to feel in control, even in the midst of confusion? Start today, my friend, and turn those stressful moments into opportunities to come back to the now. 3. Love without attachments. Let's be honest. Sometimes holding on to things feels like carrying a backpack full of rocks. Sure, it might give us a sense of security, but in the end, all it really does is exhaust our mind, wear us down, and make everything harder to handle. Do you really need everything you're holding on to? Spoiler, you don't. If I tell you to practice emotional detachment, you might think it sounds crazy. How can I just let go of everything? But don't look at it that way. This habit, when you practice it, frees you from unnecessary worries and anxieties. Because you know what? Your mental peace is the most valuable thing you have, and the Stoics understood this perfectly. Epictetus put it in a way that leaves no room for doubt. It's not what you have, who you are, where you are, or what you're doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It's what you think. Epictetus lived in a world where losing everything could happen in a single day. And yet he didn't waste energy worrying about things outside his control. He understood that true happiness doesn't come from clinging to external things, but from keeping a light and peaceful mind. And you know what? There's so much we can learn from that philosophy. To show you how important it is to love without attachments, let me tell you about a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. It revealed how emotional detachment can improve our quality of life. Researchers asked people to emotionally distance themselves from stressful situations, like arguments with a coworker or worrying about things they couldn't change. The results? A significant improvement in mood and incredible mental clarity. By the end, participants said things like, "It feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders," or, "It's like my mind can finally breathe." Wow. Imagine feeling like that. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? My friend, I won't let you keep carrying that weight, so let me share something personal. There was a time when I was stuck in a cycle of anxiety. I worried about everything. Work, other people's expectations, and even the tiniest mistakes would replay in my head. It felt like my mind was constantly in a battlefield, with no moment of peace. One day I realized that, just like that backpack of rocks, I was carrying emotional weight I didn't need. Through Stoicism, I learned the art of emotional detachment, and I won't lie, it wasn't easy. But I stayed consistent. I practiced what I learned, and little by little, my mind began to calm. I found a serenity I never thought was possible. Want to learn how to love without attachments and finally find that peace of mind? Follow these steps. First, create a letting go ritual. It could be writing down what's bothering you on a piece of paper, and then tearing it up or visualizing the thought floating away, like a balloon rising into the sky. This may sound simple, but it's powerful. It gives your mind a symbolic sense of closure and helps you release what's weighing you down. Next, surround yourself with visual reminders. Keep something in your space that symbolizes lightness, like a picture of a peaceful place or an object that reminds you to live without burdens. Every time you see it, take a moment to ask yourself, what am I carrying that I no longer need? It anchors you and helps you avoid falling back into old patterns. Don't wait any longer. Dare to practice emotional detachment. Do it for your mind, your well-being, and that inner peace we all deserve. And remember, the true art of loving without attachments is loving life with a light, free, and calm mind. 4. Reflect and improve daily. My friend, does your mind ever feel like a broken compass? Thoughts bouncing from one direction to another, unable to find a clear path? Daily reflection is like realigning that compass, giving your mind direction, calming it, and helping it focus. So, have you ever tried giving your mind the space it needs to process and release everything it's been carrying throughout the day? Don't get me wrong. Reflection is more than just thinking about what you did right or wrong. It's a gift you give your mind to release tension, find peace, and uncover ways to grow. Because let's face it, life doesn't slow down for anyone. If you don't create these moments to pause, your mind will never stop running. All great minds use reflection as their sanctuary of peace. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor, sitting in his study at the end of a chaotic day. He's faced relentless pressures, carrying the weight of an entire empire on his shoulders. Yet every night, he made time to write in his journal, reflecting on his actions and thoughts. He asked himself, did I do my best with what I had? Did I let something beyond my control disturb my inner peace? For him, reflection wasn't just about reviewing his day. It was about ensuring his mind was at peace, ready to face a new day without unnecessary burdens. And it's not just Marcus Aurelius from ancient times who used reflection to grow. Did you know that Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women in the world, credits her success and inner peace to daily reflection? I know what you're thinking. Does writing in a journal really make that much of a difference? But hear me out. This isn't just a simple exercise. Oprah calls it her daily anchor, a way to keep her mind steady and calm in the middle of life's storm. Every night she sits in a quiet corner of her home, takes out her journal, and writes down 5 things she's grateful for. She's said it's like organizing a messy bookshelf. Small entries like, today, I'm grateful for laughing with a friend, or the beauty of the sunset I saw, act as a soothing balm for her mind, transforming chaos into calm. Now, picture this. You've just finished an exhausting day. You've been running from one task to another, putting out fires, managing problems. You finally get home, sit on the couch, and your mind won't stop replaying everything you did and everything you didn't. Instead of letting those thoughts torment you, you pick up a notebook or your phone and start writing. Today was a tough day, but I learned that. Suddenly the mental noise begins to fade, and you find a clarity that allows you to relax. So are you ready to start reflecting and discover how your mind can become the peaceful refuge you need? First, use a journal. Each night write down 3 things. Something that went well, something you'd like to improve, and something you're grateful for. For example, today I stayed calm in a tough situation, but I could have been more patient. I'm grateful I had a moment to myself. This habit helps your mind release tension and focus on the positive. If writing isn't your thing, don't worry, there's a solution. Try a reflection app. There are plenty of options that guide you with questions like, what emotions did you feel today? Or, when did you feel most at peace? Answering these helps you dive deeper into your thoughts and understand yourself better. Trust me, it gives your mind a sense of closure, like finishing a chapter in a book. And don't forget to create a reflection space at home. It doesn't need to be fancy, just a quiet corner where you can spend a few minutes in silence. Use this time to close your eyes and think about your day, letting your mind breathe and reorganize itself. It's a simple reminder to your brain that it's okay to let go. Let me ask you this. What could you achieve if every day ended with a mind that's lighter, calmer, and more at peace? Dare to reflect, my friend. Do it not just to improve, but for that sense of calm you've been longing for. Because in the end, a tranquil mind is like a serene lake, a mirror of peace that reflects the best version of yourself. 5. Master your mental garden. Let me tell you something that might change the way you handle your mind. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful garden full of vibrant flowers, lush trees, and peaceful little streams. But one day a fierce storm arrived. The wind howled, branches snapped, and chaos took over. The harder the gardener tried to control the storm, running around to protect every corner, the more disordered and chaotic everything became. And here's the twist. That garden isn't just a patch of plants. That garden is your mind, yes, your mind, full of thoughts and emotions that can sometimes feel like an uncontrollable storm. But what if I told you that you are the gardener? You have the power to decide what to nurture and what to let go of. You can't always stop the storm, but you can choose how to protect what truly matters. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing them. It means understanding and managing them, like a skilled gardener tending to their space without letting chaos take over. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. Emotions are like the wind in your garden. You can't stop them from blowing, but you can decide how to respond. And even science backs this up. A study from Stanford University found that people who learn to regulate their emotions through specific techniques experience greater calm and less anxiety. The researchers asked participants to reframe how they interpreted stressful situations. The results were remarkable. Those who did reported a sense of calm, as if a dark cloud had lifted from their minds. That's exactly what we're aiming for, isn't it? Let's be real. You've probably been here before. You're at work and a colleague makes an irritating comment. Your mind races and your emotions flare up like a sudden storm. You feel your blood boiling, imagining all the things you could have said or done. But instead of letting the chaos take over, this is where you can choose to tend to your mental garden. So, how can we master that garden in moments like this? Here are 3 practical tips. First, learn to spot the moment when an intense emotion starts to rise. Often emotions catch us off guard because we don't notice them until it's too late. When you feel things spiraling, pause for a second. Take a moment and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Recognizing the emotion is the first step to regaining control. It's like spotting an invasive plant in your garden. You can't remove it if you don't see it. Second, prioritize good sleep hygiene. Getting quality sleep doesn't just boost your energy, it also calms your mind and helps you put situations into perspective. When you're well rested, intense emotions are easier to manage. What seemed like a huge problem can shrink into something much more manageable. So, make sure you have a healthy sleep routine. Avoid screens before bed, create a peaceful environment, and get the hours of rest your body needs. It's like watering your garden at night so the plants wake up refreshed and strong. Third, regulate your inner dialogue. The words we say to ourselves matter. Instead of thinking, this is a disaster, try saying, I can handle this. Shifting your inner dialogue transforms how you perceive emotions and reduces their negative impact. My friend, mastering your emotions is an art, but one that will give you lasting serenity. It's not about creating a perfect garden, but about learning to care for it when the storms roll in. Are you ready to start today and turn your mind into that serene, grounded space you've always desired? 6. Find peace in the pauses. Be honest. When was the last time you truly gave yourself permission to stop? I'm not talking about collapsing on the couch with your phone in hand. I mean a real pause. Have you allowed yourself to just listen to your own thoughts? Or even be alone without any distractions? I know it's not easy. Sometimes the idea of sitting alone with our thoughts can feel overwhelming. Let's not kid ourselves. In this world that never stops moving, finding peace in the pauses is a superpower. The Stoics, those ancient sages, understood this perfectly. For them, pauses were like an oasis in the desert of constant noise, a chance for the soul to breathe and the mind to settle. Marcus Aurelius found richness in silence. He couldn't understand why people sought refuge in mountains when they craved peace. He would always say, "Why not retreat into yourself? That's the best sanctuary there is." And think about it. How right was he? Let me be honest with you, because we're among friends. There was a time in my life when I couldn't stand being alone. I constantly needed to be surrounded by my partner or friends. And when I was alone, I did anything to fill the void. Binge-watching shows, going out for no reason, or even cleaning obsessively. The truth is, I was running from my own mind, which was screaming at me that something wasn't right. One day I decided to face that discomfort. I started practicing pauses, moments when I'd simply sit in silence and listen to my breathing. Or I'd take a walk with no headphones, just listening to the sound of the sea. Little by little, I began to find peace in those quiet moments. Now those pauses have become my greatest allies. Does that sound familiar to you? Maybe you also feel like you can't stop. But trust me, finding peace in the pauses can transform your life. Want to know how to do it? First, schedule mini pauses into your day. They don't need to be long. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. For example, every 2 hours, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and focus on your breathing. Feel the air as it enters and leaves your lungs, and let that moment refresh your mind. Think of it as giving your brain a small break to recharge. Second, create a peaceful space in your home. It could be a corner with a plant, a candle, or a comfortable cushion. A place you can retreat to when things get intense, where you can disconnect and just be. It's like having your own little refuge amidst the chaos. Third, make it a habit to walk without distractions. Leave your phone at home and take a mindful stroll. Pay attention to the sounds around you, the textures underfoot, and the colors you see. It's a powerful exercise to anchor yourself in the present moment and let your mind settle. Imagine each step you take as a wave carrying your worries farther away. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Talking to a trusted friend or a therapist can help you process intense emotions and find clarity. Sometimes just saying out loud what you're feeling can be incredibly freeing. It's as if sharing your thoughts allows the gray clouds in your mind to part, letting in a ray of sunshine. Finding peace in the pauses isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So, my friend, are you ready to give it a try? Give yourself that gift. Because in a world full of noise, those who find calm in the silence are the ones who truly master their minds. 7. Make gratitude your strength. What is true wealth, really? It's not something you can count or measure. It's more like an ancient treasure buried in the quiet moments, those times when the noise of the world fades and complexity dissolves into simplicity. Some say that abundance isn't found in accumulating more, but in appreciating what we already have. Gratitude is a strength that can calm your mind and make it unshakable. But what if we've never paused to seek it? What if the key has been closer than we ever imagined? The Stoics knew something we often forget in our busy lives. True wealth doesn't come from what we own, but from what we're able to appreciate. Seneca put it simply, it's not the person who has little, but the person who always wants more who is poor. Think about that for a moment. When we're not grateful, our minds become a bottomless pit, always craving more and more. Gratitude stops that cycle. It anchors you in what you have, and suddenly everything that felt chaotic begins to calm down. Let me share the story of someone who understood this better than most. Maya Angelou. Imagine a young Maya growing up in a world filled with racism, poverty, and abuse. Everything seemed to be working against her, and the darkness often felt unbearable. But Maya decided to find light in the storm. She began practicing gratitude for the little things, the kindness of a stranger, a warm meal, or simply the gift of living another day. Gratitude became her strength, a shield that kept her steady despite life's hardships. Because of this, Maya didn't just survive, she thrived, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and love. Now, picture yourself in this scenario. It's a Sunday afternoon and you're in a lively park. Children are running and laughing. The trees sway gently in the wind. but you barely notice your surroundings because your mind is trapped in a whirlwind of worries. You're thinking about the week ahead, the tasks you left undone, and everything that feels wrong. But then, you do something different. You stop, sit on a bench, and close your eyes for a moment. You listen to the birds singing, feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, and think of 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's the simple joy of that sunny day, the support of a friend, or the fact that you're here, alive to feel it all. And suddenly your mind begins to settle, like the leaves on a tree returning to their place after a strong wind. I know it can feel challenging, especially when chaos surrounds you. But I promise, if you follow these steps, you'll make gratitude your strength. First, take a few minutes at the end of each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Don't overthink it. They can be small and simple. For example, sharing a laugh with a friend or finishing a task you were dreading. The key is to connect with the feeling of gratitude. It's like planting seeds of calm in your mind. Over time, those seeds will grow and flourish. Second, use gratitude reminders in your daily life. Put a note on your mirror that says, "Today I'm grateful for," or set an alarm on your phone with that message. When you see it, take a minute to think of something you're thankful for at that moment. For instance, while brushing your teeth, be grateful for the roof over your head. Or while sipping your coffee, appreciate the warmth that comforts you. These small gestures create a chain of gratitude that soothes your mind and fills you with a sense of serenity. Let's be honest, gratitude won't solve all your problems, but it will give you a new perspective. It will help you see the good even in the midst of chaos. And that, my friend, is a kind of wealth that nothing and no one can ever take from you. 8. Let go of the chains of the past. Carrying the past is like dragging around heavy chains. Sometimes you don't even realize they're there, but they are, binding you, slowing you down, and draining your energy. We hold on to mistakes, painful moments, and people who are no longer part of our lives. But my friend, the truth is, all they do is keep us from moving forward. Now, don't get me wrong. Letting go of the past doesn't mean ignoring it. It means freeing yourself from its control. It's about recognizing that what happened can't be changed, but you can decide how it affects your life today. It's a powerful strategy to calm your mind and stop replaying those painful scenes over and over. You know who understood this perfectly? The Stoics, of course. But for them, this wasn't just a theoretical idea. It was a daily practice. Epictetus reminds us, what has happened cannot be changed, but how you carry it is entirely up to you. It's such a profound truth, isn't it? Picture Epictetus teaching this to his students and then, with a smile, saying, "So, if you've been holding a grudge against your neighbor for stealing your goat 10 years ago, maybe it's time to let it go." Even philosophers knew that sometimes you have to laugh at the things that weigh you down. Laura Chica, a psychologist and author, teaches that letting go of the past is essential for living in peace in the present. She talks about the importance of accepting what was without trying to change it. You can't rewrite the past, but you can choose how to write your present, she says. So instead of getting stuck in what happened, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use it to improve today? That, my friend, is transforming chains into lessons. Now imagine this. You're at a party, surrounded by friends. Everyone is enjoying the moment, laughing, dancing, sharing stories. But you're not really there. Your body is at the party, but your mind is trapped in a memory that still hurts. Why? Because at the party there's someone who, years ago, made a comment that cut deep. Are you really going to the gym? Because it doesn't show. You still have those skinny arms. Those words left a scar that hasn't healed. And now, at the party, your mind keeps replaying that hurtful comment over and over. You feel your chest tighten, the weight of those words crushing your spirit. Instead of enjoying the joy and connection around you, you're stuck in that painful memory. It's like a scratched record, repeating the same hurtful phrase and keeping you from moving on to the next song of your life. You wonder, why can't I let this go? Why can't I be free and enjoy the present? My friend, if you don't want to stay trapped by the chains of the past, it's time to take action and give your mind the rest it deserves. First, write a letter to your past. Yes, a letter. Not to send it, but to release what you're holding inside. Express everything, your frustrations, your pain, even apologies you never gave. Then tear it up and let your mind find peace. It's a symbolic act that can bring incredible relief. Second, create a soothing environment. It could be something simple, like lighting a candle and dedicating a moment to reflect on what's holding you back. Then visualize the candle's light dissolving those chains, leaving your mind lighter. Use this ritual whenever something from the past starts to weigh you down. It's like giving your brain a clear signal that you're ready to move forward. Remember what we mentioned earlier about surrounding yourself with reminders of gratitude? If you're already practicing it, it will help you let go. Picture looking at a list where you've written, "I'm grateful for the support of my friends," or "I'm thankful for having had the strength to overcome so much." Suddenly, the chains created by the past start to lose their grip, and your mind can return to enjoying the present, free of that weight. Letting go of the past isn't an act of weakness, it's an act of strength. And when you manage to release those chains, you'll discover an inner peace that allows you to live fully. So what do you say? Are you ready to let go and feel the lightness of a calm mind? Because, my friend, life is so much more beautiful when we're not chained to what we can no longer change. 9. Reconnect with the essence of nature. Take a moment and think back to your childhood. Do you remember those afternoons when you ran freely through a field, climbed trees, or simply played in a park until the sun began to set? How did your mind feel in those moments? It was probably a calm, quiet place, free from the constant noise of worries and the weight of expectations. Just you and nature, in perfect harmony. When was the last time you felt like that? Let's be clear. Our connection with nature isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. But in today's fast-paced world, we've forgotten the essentials. And here lies one of the most effective strategies to calm the mind, going back to our roots and reconnecting with the essence of nature. Listen, my friend, even before the Stoics spoke of mental serenity, Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher from over 2,000 years ago, understood the power of nature and its constant flow. He said, "Everything flows, nothing stays still." Do you see the wisdom in those words? Heraclitus reminded us that nature never stops, that a river keeps flowing no matter how many times you try to hold it back. This is a powerful lesson, learning to flow with life, accepting that everything changes and finding calm in that process. So, when you feel stuck in your thoughts, step outside and let nature teach you how to let go and move forward. The Stoics understood this deeply. Spending time outdoors was like hitting a reset button. It restored their peace and perspective. For them, inner storms were nothing more than gusts of wind brushing through the trees. They pass, they fade, and the world keeps turning. Did you know that a man named Richard Louv has dedicated his life to researching this connection? He found something alarming. People, especially children, are becoming increasingly disconnected from nature. He coined the term nature deficit disorder to describe this phenomenon, and it's not just a romantic idea. Science backs it up. Spending time in nature can reduce anxiety, improve mood, and even restore our attention span. It's like every walk outdoors is a much-needed medicine for the mind. Want to bring this simple yet powerful strategy into your life and calm your mind? First, set aside a weekly moment to go outdoors, even if it's just for half an hour. Picture this. It's a Saturday morning. Instead of staying inside with your phone, put on your shoes and head to a park or the beach. Notice the details, the movement of the leaves, the sound of the wind, the texture of the ground beneath your feet. Let these sensations soothe your mind like a balm easing the agitation of daily life. Second, feel nature with your whole body. After a tiring day, don't just collapse on the couch. Find an outdoor spot and take off your shoes. Let your feet touch the earth, grass, or sand. feel the texture and temperature, and connect with your surroundings. It's like a grounding ritual that releases built-up stress and anchors you in the present. While you do this, take deep breaths and allow nature's calm to envelop you. This will help your mind let go of worries and find serenity. Reconnecting with nature is more than just a walk. It's a return to who we are. It's a reminder that the most valuable things in life don't cost anything. So, my friend, why not give your mind the gift of serenity that nature offers? In a world full of chaos and noise, those who connect with nature discover an endless source of peace and clarity. 10. Create calm with your hands. Picture this. You're at home, overwhelmed by the bills piling up on the table, wondering how you're going to make it to the end of the month. The anxiety over financial struggles tightens your chest, and the weight of uncertainty feels unbearable. Your mind is a chaotic storm, swirling with relentless thoughts. You sit on the couch trying to relax, but those numbers keep haunting you. Now let me take you to a different scenario. Instead of letting that storm drag you down, you stand up and start creating with your hands. Maybe you begin knitting, shaping clay, or carving wood. And little by little, with each movement, the noise in your mind begins to settle. It's as if those problems are dry leaves burning away, leaving space for a much-needed breath of relief. This isn't just a theory. It's something that has transformed lives. Let me tell you the story of Miguel Torres. Miguel went through one of the darkest periods of his life after losing his partner. The pain was overwhelming, and words weren't enough to express it. It was as if a deep crack had formed in his chest, leaving an emptiness that seemed impossible to fill. But when he started working with wood, something shifted. Carving figures became his way of processing emotions. As his hands shaped the wood, he also shaped a new way to cope with his grief. Slowly, Miguel created calm with his hands and rediscovered the sense of purpose he thought he had lost. And Miguel's story isn't an isolated case. Not at all. Dr. Kelly Lambert, a brilliant neuroscientist, discovered that using our hands has an incredible impact on our minds. Why? Because activities like cooking, gardening, or working with clay activate parts of the brain that, quite literally, tell stress to back off. It's as if, by molding something tangible, your neurons band together to calm the storm inside. They give your mind a break, making everything feel a little more manageable. The Stoics understood this too. Seneca, the great philosopher, wasn't a fan of idle hands. He believed that our minds need tasks to keep them grounded, to give them purpose. Because let's face it, our minds don't have an off switch. If only it were that simple, right? The mind is like a playful puppy that needs a bone to stop running in circles. So don't forget, when you immerse yourself in a hands-on activity, you're giving your mind that much-needed bone to find tranquility. How can you bring this into your life? Here are 3 practical steps to start creating calm with your hands. First, choose a hands-on activity that interests you. It could be something simple, like coloring a mandala or trying out a new recipe. Imagine receiving yet another bill on a day when you're already feeling overwhelmed by financial stress. Instead of being consumed by your thoughts, you start kneading dough or painting. Feel your mind shift its focus to the task at hand, letting your worries gradually fade away. Does that sound like something you'd try? Second, don't make it a one-time thing. Incorporate this into your daily routine as something to look forward to. If you have a garden, go outside and plant something new. Or maybe start knitting or sculpting. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about enjoying the process. Like Miguel with his carvings, let your hands do the work while your mind takes a break. Finally, combine this practice with connecting to nature. Remember the importance of reconnecting with the natural world? What if you merged these 2 techniques to create an even deeper sense of peace? For example, paint outdoors, or if you're gardening, go barefoot and feel the earth beneath your feet. This connection adds another layer of serenity to your mind, giving it a moment to breathe amidst the chaos. Calm isn't always found in meditation or absolute silence. Sometimes it's created, quite literally, with your hands. So, my friend, why not give it a try? What hands-on activity would you like to explore to find that calm? I can't wait to hear about your experience and share this journey with you. And remember, life is already complicated enough. Allow yourself the joy of creating something that soothes your soul. I invite you to embrace calm in your daily life. Let every pause, every connection with nature, and every moment of gratitude be an opportunity to quiet your mind and strengthen your spirit. Remember, it's not about eliminating the noise of the world, but learning to find serenity in the midst of it. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "My mind finds calm." That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.